We are live. This is the market update. I'm your host, Bill Noble. Zuckerberg versus Musk. Who will win? I will tell you right now. I'm going to show you the charts, but I'm going to tell you right now who's going to win, Musk versus Zuckerberg. The one who adopts Bitcoin and crypto the fastest. Okay? I would expect Elon to come out with a major announcement probably at the end of this month, right after the Fed. Whichever platform develops a payment system is going to be the platform that wins. Okay. Then I'm going to go into the fact that a fiat currency crisis has started. A lot of people are talking about stocks, interest rates, all this stuff. And you know what I decided to do? I saw some negative feedback, a guy picking a fight with me, on the comments to the stream on Twitter. And I decided that after I heard that, I wanted to take a whole different macro view of crypto. In other words, I am revamping the framework for looking at both crypto and legacy. So Zuckerberg and Musk basically guarantees the start of a rally in Bitcoin. The question is, when will that occur? I will tell you. Don't go anywhere. So let's welcome here Megan. Megan is here first. Welcome. Bull Runner, another loyal person. AZ, Richard Barry got on. Welcome. Welcome. Forget about it. Telmo, Jeff, Alan, Kenneth, John, Quarter Crawler, recognizing some new names in here. Welcome to the show. JP Stanley, Solana is pumping today. Yes, there is news coming out about perhaps venture capital selling. But don't forget who picked Solana out of the wreckage. That would be Miss Toby from Unhinged Crypto. We are recovered from mono, and we will be back soon. Toby has been wrong about nothing. she's like the secret weapon. Okay. Robin is here. Okay. Robin is here. All right, people. Now we're going to get into something that I own. Okay. This is the website for Block 47. Block 47 is a project from the group I work for, Emerging Asset Group, where diamonds, jewelry will be sold on chain. So you never have to go through a bank to get a Rolex or a diamond, all done on chain. So we are taking 47th Street's Diamond District in New York, putting it on chain. Profits from this will go to buy back one of our tokens, GLDN. Now, later on, I'm going to discuss gold and GLDN. Okay. However, when it comes to Block 47, you want to be following them both on Instagram, okay, at block47.io. Okay. We got gold bars in a vault. And I'm going to tell you later on why this is very relevant. I own GLDN, but this is going to be a very, very relevant theme because a fiat currency crisis has started. Now, just beginning with some comedy. Okay. Our friend Kramer thinks Instagram is a terrific product and Twitter is awful. I don't know why anybody would underestimate Elon Musk. Elon Musk has pulled crypto stunts before, and he is going to pull one again. I mean, Zuckerberg has millions of users. I hear it's fun. Okay, I'm on there at Notorious Bill 76. I'm actually going to use my personal Instagram, I think, to do threads. But I mean, do you think Elon's just going to sit around and watch Zuckerberg, who's got a huge following on Instagram, plus he's got license from the government, right? He's got license from the government because the government can use that to censor and monitor speech. It's as simple as that. So if the financial analysts like Instagram, if they like Meta, what is Musk going to do? Well, I can tell you what he's not going to do. He's not going to sit around and just take it on the chin. These guys are going to fight. Yeah, they're going to fight. All right. Now, let's move to a new framework. A new framework. Okay? There's a connection between crypto, stocks, bonds, and the dollar. Now, last year, it was the Fed hikes rates, okay? The dollar goes up, bonds go down, interest rates rise. Last year, stocks went down, and crypto went with it. Crypto having a deluxe debacle thanks to Celsius and FTX. Now, this year, we have a different story. Equities had a mind of their own after multiple bank failures and the AI narrative. So $1 in stocks was better than $1 in the bank. And they took that to absurd heights. So you now have overvalued equities and probably people with tons of leverage against those overvalued equities. Obviously, interest rates have gone up massively. But so far in 2023, even though interest rates probably should go higher, the real issue is the credibility of the United States. That's why bonds should go down and rates should go up. But stocks have not gone down. Bonds have not gone down. Okay? So the Fed is also confused. So just consider this, right? The Fed signals, yeah, we want to raise rates, okay? And then, Dallas Fed president says if we lose ground in our effort to restore price stability, we will need to do more later to catch up. Now, so let's follow along here. Stocks, mind of their own. Bonds, mind of their own. Okay? Probably because big pension fund managers continue to buy it. The Fed, confused, doesn't know what to do. If you read the FOMC minutes from the other day, they don't know what to do. They're going to continue to hike rates. Okay, so what do we know, right? We know the U.S. government has no credibility. We know that the president of the United States is probably going to have to resign, okay, at some point so their party can have the first woman president. You're going to have an ungovernable United States. Okay, you have a failure of the euro in France. If the French franc existed, the French franc could fall in value, allowing the French economy to recover. But because the French have the euro, effectively Germany's currency, their currency cannot adjust. Their economy cannot adjust, so the country gets burned down. So you can't adjust currencies in Europe. Stocks are wildly overvalued but don't go down. Bonds should go down because the U.S. government doesn't really have any credibility, and neither does the Fed. So how does the trade get done? Imagine a pot cooking on a stove, right? And the pot is like boiling and boiling and boiling and boiling, right? The lid is going to explode off. But the thing that's funny about this trade is you can't release the pressure in the stock market. You can't release the pressure in the bond market. So where are you going to release the pressure? Well, you're going to do it in the foreign exchange market. You're going to do it with gold. You're going to do it with the dollar index, and you're going to do it with Bitcoin. And all the pressure of all the dysfunction in the system is coming to Bitcoin. And as soon as the Fed, as soon as Powell steps down, gets off the podium from the press conference at the end of this month, that's when it gets real. Okay. And in the meantime, we got to figure out where the bottom end of the range is so we can hoover this up, because you're going to have a fiat currency crisis and Elon coming in massively. That's why Bitcoin is so strong. That's why Bitcoin is so strong. Kim is like, let's rally. Some people pumped up about Block 47. Definitely. Okay, continuing with the news. Bond bull markets. The reality is nothing in fixed income markets is ever risk-free. So there are problems with junk bonds. People are starting to default on auto loans. Blah, 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 blah. I sound like a down-in-the-mouth old man when I talk about all of these things, because when I've been talking about them, I said, yeah, bonds interest rates could go higher. The U.S. government could lose credibility. Now I'm like, okay, well, that's nice. That's the bond market. This trade's going to get done in the currency market, and I'm going to show you those charts. Stocks and bonds sink as investors break for further Federal Reserve tightening. Guess what? It unwound itself. Stocks went back. Stocks were down. They went back up. Bonds were down. They went back up. However, the dollar index is getting hammered, and gold actually recovered. We're going to be looking at those charts and the GLDN picture soon. Okay. Arthur Hayes, Bitcoin will be the currency of artificial intelligence. I'm proud to say that anybody who's been watching this show has heard me say that not only is decentralized AI a completely undertraded, underinvested theme in crypto, but I don't know what makes anyone think that a computer is going to use a fiat currency to do transactions. When you're in the metaverse, you're going to be interacting with some form of AI. And the AI is not going to pick fiat currencies that are failing before our eyes, right? They're failing before our eyes. Don't let me forget to bring up BlackRock. Now, this is actually a good place to do it. So the MicroStrategy chief revenue officer resigns after 7 years. So remember, MicroStrategy is a computer company, and I don't know how a Bitcoin hedge fund sells computer software when they're basically a Bitcoin hedge fund. You know, MicroStrategy's computer department is eventually going to be used, okay, to do development on the Bitcoin Lightning Network. That's if MicroStrategy doesn't get taken over first. We'll have that chart later because that stock is breaking out, basically telling you what's going to happen with Bitcoin. Now, speaking of MicroStrategy, okay, there is also another big player in the market, BlackRock. Let's talk about BlackRock. BlackRock called a press conference talking about how Bitcoin was the future. It was broadcast on CNBC. Now, did the guy that runs BlackRock, did he hold the press conference and then pick up the phone and buy Bitcoin? No, absolutely not. He owns a ton of Bitcoin already. He's talking his book. Now, why did Larry Fink and everybody in the whole world decide to apply for a Bitcoin ETF? Simple. They know a US dollar currency crisis or a fiat currency crisis with either the euro or the yen or all three of them is imminent. In other words, you have the monetary policy side of the government, which of course the big guys like BlackRock are deeply in the know about, asking the administration, which is the president, the executive branch, and the SEC, for permission to get their hands on as much Bitcoin as they can. Now, will the SEC approve that? God, I don't know, right? If the SEC approved the Bitcoin ETF, they would effectively be announcing a dollar crisis. They would be giving the investment community in legacy permission to get Bitcoin as a hedge. Bitcoin mining revenue hits 184 million, okay, off Ordinals. Okay, wait until you see what happens with Bitcoin mining when this thing takes off at the end of the month. They're going to go nuts. Okay, you're going to want to have your Bitcoin tucked in at that point. Okay, Google Cloud furthers Bitcoin Lightning ambitions. In other words, Apple dropped it, so Google's picking it up. Google panicked over ChatGPT. They can't miss the next leg. Neither can Musk. Neither can Musk. These guys at Silicon Valley cannot sit around. So Wall Street wants crypto. Silicon Valley wants crypto. Okay. Not only do they want crypto, but they want Web3. Coca-Cola and Solana NFT platform team up. Yes, in an obscure country in Europe, but they teamed up, right? NFTs have crashed. Web3 is now priced to move. Total altcoin market cap is only $500 billion. Even if they mark it down another $150 billion on a pre-Fed decline at the end of the month, you got to be down there. You got to be down there. You're going to buy Apple at a $3 trillion market cap? Are you crazy? That's worth more than all of crypto. That's worth more than all of crypto. How Threads could kill Twitter. Okay. The app is intuitive and has been downloaded by millions of people. Okay. I don't want to fade Elon Musk. Okay. I don't. Because he's going to bring crypto into his platform. Bitcoin could rally to 125K by the end of 2024. I think that's frankly conservative, right? Everyone's talking about the Bitcoin halving. No one's talking about Musk versus Twitter. I'm sorry, Musk versus Facebook. Nobody. They're talking about it in the UFC ring. They're not talking about it on the crypto front, and they're going to start, right? Which is why you want to use the next 2 or 3 weeks to get long AF, not investment advice. Okay. Because when this thing takes off, when we're done with the Fed, right? When the Fed reveals that the dollar crisis has started, even if interest rates go up, that's going to be the time where crypto is going to detach and go. Detach and go. So if you have a currency crisis and you have Elon and Silicon Valley using crypto as a lever to fight each other, I don't understand how anything like that could be negative. AI crypto trading bots are the new edge. So on the subject of currency crisis, if you can actually develop an AI bot that I think looks at the dollar, the yen, the euro, gold, and Bitcoin, and maybe Ethereum in there as well, you will be able to figure out a strategy for the next year. Because stocks and bonds, in my mind, they matter less. What matters is there's going to be, there are so many reasons for a dollar currency crisis, but the big reasons are we cannot get reality reflected in stocks and bonds. Maybe we will in October, but I think the only way to really reflect reality is in the currency markets. Okay. Bitcoin whales are increasing. Bitcoin sent to exchange is falling. What does this trend mean? It means smart money knows there's going to be a fiat currency crisis, and you got to get your hands on whatever crypto you can. That even includes art. There are destroyed NFT projects. You can pick them up, new stuff, cheap, no one interested. Think about it. SEC spot Bitcoin ETF is unlikely to be a game changer for the crypto markets, says the bank. Okay, you're right. The spot Bitcoin ETF itself is irrelevant. No one cares. I mean, yes, everyone's like, oh, institutions will adopt it. Well, you know, every time they come out with one of these new products, the market actually goes down. In this particular case, particularly since with the pomp and circumstance you've had, if they approve a spot Bitcoin ETF, they're basically telling the market there's something wrong with the dollar. Okay. This is an interesting point. RFK Jr. spoke at Bitcoin Miami, which was the shot heard around the world. He said he wasn't an investor, but he says on his list of 30 financial disclosures, he held between 100 and 250,000 worth of Bitcoin. So he came out and said, you can keep your Bitcoin, right? Here he is with that orange backdrop, which is classic, right? Give me a poster of that. So this guy comes out and says, you can keep your Bitcoin, but doesn't come out and say he says he owns it. Why? Well, because a president of the United States can't come out and say, yeah, I got some of my wealth protected because there's going to be a currency crisis. Twitter awarded 3 state money transmitter licenses. Okay. Elon Musk's vision of the everything app, the WeChat of social media. Crypto on Twitter. It is going to happen. Now, let's take a brief moment and go to gold. I want to talk about gold, and I'm going to tell you why I want to talk about gold. Now, here we see gold daily versus Bitcoin, right? Gold is the candlestick chart. Bitcoin is the orange line. Now, as you can see, Bitcoin has done very well. Gold has done nothing. You know, gold can be shorted by institutions, and gold probably has suffered because interest rates have stayed stubbornly high. Now, interest rates may go higher. Our bond market really has no credibility whatsoever. But gold, along with Bitcoin, will be the new reserve asset, right? In other words, if you're doing a dollar crisis, if you're betting that AI and social media and Silicon Valley are going to adopt a new form of money as the dollar falls apart, gold and hard assets has to be a part of that trade. Except which hard assets? Wheat, very volatile. Oil, major supply overhang. OPEC battles, Iranian battles with the U.S. in Middle Eastern seas. What assets? What hard assets other than hard digital money do you get into? Well, I don't know. How about Block 47? How about bark and water? Do you know half the groundwater in the United States is polluted with forever chemicals? And then there's the token where all these actual businesses, right? When these businesses drive revenue, they'll be used to buy back the GLDN token. And that includes a new type of trading group. That's what we're calling it, right? We're not calling it a hedge fund, but we're going to have an internal trading group where the profits from the trading group will also go back into GLDN. So where are you going to do the hard asset trade? You're going to do it in legacy? You're going to buy Apple at $3 trillion? What are you going to buy? Well, you're going to have to do it on the blockchain. You're going to have to do gold, water, and diamonds. And guys like me and my boss who can figure out market direction before everybody else. Now, if you look at GLDN, if you look at this chart, it's really unbelievable. This give up trade has been going on now for a couple of days. There's a huge downward sloping wedge here on a 4-hour chart, just, over the last, say, 3 weeks. And again, I own this token. I work at the company. And then if you go to a daily chart, okay, the give up trade that's been going on now, all of 2023, is into itself a downward sloping wedge. So when you have a downward sloping wedge, it's like taking a basketball, putting it underwater. Then when you let go, it not only pops to the surface, but it pops all the way out. So why is Bitcoin so strong, right? That's the title of the stream. Why is it so strong? Because hard assets, hard money are the only place to go, because the only way to reflect what's wrong with the world is a currency crisis or a sharp decline in currencies. So people are selling a token for 25 cents with open businesses that can drive demand for the token, right? Now, again, don't believe me. Look at the gold chart. Gold at the bottom of this range, buy or sell. I leave it up to you. Okay. In other words, everyone thinks the trade is, I don't know. They think the trade is about the Bitcoin ETF. It's not. It's why does Larry Fink on TV talking about the Bitcoin ETF? Because he knows something. What does he know? What does he know? If you can answer that question, then you got to look at Bitcoin, ETH, gold, GLDN, non-investment advice. Arik, hello from Israel. Welcome. Wrong again, giving me some love. I appreciate that. Okay, so let's check out who else is here. Silas, Robin, hello. Homestead, Zach. Okay, this is all rosy for crypto, but how does crypto not nosedive during a stock crash or property value crash? Okay, that's a great question, and I would love to answer it. Crypto is going to be affected by what happens in equities in October. However, there's going to be a floor underneath crypto. In other words, equities and things like bonds, theoretically, they could free fall, right? Especially as this dollar thing picks up, right? Because I'm looking at the dollar right now. I have the dollar yen chart in the deck, okay? Crypto will always lurch lower along with legacy, okay? But crypto does not have to go down the drain and go down and stay down. Now, that's my opinion, right? And, my opinion is theoretically as good as a guy in a diner. But consider this. The rally in crypto was supposed to be in July, and it wasn't, right? It was in June. Why? Because equities portfolio managers at the end of the quarter decided, where are equities going to be in a year? Probably a lot lower. Where's Bitcoin going to be in a year? Probably a lot higher. Now, can there be some serious volatility in the meantime? Yeah. If Bitcoin went down 30%, Bitcoin could turn around and go up 300%. If equities go down 30%, they're not going to go back up 300% at all. At all. So equities portfolio managers are like, well, this is perfect. Let's just, let's take S&P here. Let's put S&P up. Let's take S&P, right? That's all the way up here. And let's grab some Bitcoin, which is all the way down here, right? I mean, seriously, like this is AI hubris. If this gets unwound, this could go down, Bitcoin could go down, but Bitcoin's going to turn around and go back up. Where is all this going to be in a year? And don't believe me, okay? This was all at quarter end. This was when I was like, well, you take a vacation because portfolio managers, do all this portfolio adjusting. And who the F knew Larry Fink and friends were going to come piling into Bitcoin as they quietly exited stocks. So, that is how I would do that. Okay. Interesting in thinking about this next presidential election when it meets the Bitcoin halving. Okay. Then there's that. Okay. Then there's that. You need to realize that the only way a three-way race between Kamala Harris, okay, RFK Jr., and Donald Trump, the person who wins that race is the one with the crypto vote. Now, there are social issues in there as well, but the crypto vote swings that election. So, in April, this year, you've got, Gary Gensler on the tape scaring everybody. Then you're going to have everybody, in the fall embracing crypto because, a dollar crisis embarrasses the current administration that the candidates are running against. Right? I mean, Richard makes a great point here, and I've talked about this. What kind of news flow? It's like a legacy term. Like when you wake up and you read the news, you'll hear SEC this or Binance executives quit, right? Because, they get offered a deal to roll over on CZ, right? You hear bad news, bad news, bad news. What are you going to hear next year? You're going to hear candidate says you can keep your Bitcoin. Candidate says Congress will pass a law. State governments will say, we want Bitcoin on our balance sheet. IRS says we accept Bitcoin as payment for taxes. Watch. It is going to happen. JCH is here from Doha. Welcome. All right, let's get into PowerPoint. Okay, here it is, gold versus Bitcoin. Again, look at where gold is relative to this regression band. Gold stocks, GDX, the same thing. This stuff has been pushed out of a car, as has GLDN. I mean, we're in the middle of a currency crisis, and nobody wants to own gold. The market always does the wrong trade. Always. Like the big opportunities, the big trades is when you catch the market flat-footed when something big is about to go down. Junior gold mining stocks, GDXJ. Okay. As I said, what's good? GLDN. Like absolutely people totally giving up right as Block 47 comes online. Dollar Yen. Want to know why the dollar is down? Because the dollar is falling out of bed versus the yen. Now, the orange line here is not Bitcoin, it's stocks. The candlestick chart is dollar yen. To keep it very simple, when the dollar is rising, the yen is falling. That's considered bullish because that means the Japanese are flooding the market with yen. The second that stops and the dollar starts to go down versus the yen, it's kind of like legacy getting choked. So again, if people are buying the yen that's being printed indiscriminately and selling the dollar, there's something wrong with the dollar. Rudy, I definitely checked into Gala. Gala actually showed up on vidIQ as the thing that was good to talk about to get views. It's the most interesting Gala point I've got for today. I'll be sure and look at the chart. Okay, again, this dollar index theme, the blue arrow, the candlesticks are the dollar index. Okay, dollar index down, Bitcoin up. Dollar index down, Bitcoin up. Dollar index not down as much, but Bitcoin is ready to go, which means this dollar down move can get a lot bigger. Now, maybe it doesn't get a lot bigger now as people entertain this. If interest rates go up, the dollar should do better. Yeah, okay. Whatever. Okay. The integrity of the bond market and the ridiculousness of the stock market has to get reflected somewhere. And it's either going to get reflected in lower dollar. And if it can't get reflected in lower dollar, then guess how it's going to get reflected? You ready? In crypto, just indiscriminately mooning. All the pressure, all the psychological pressure where we all raise our middle finger to the system and go, this is all broken. That all funnels into crypto. Now, yeah, you're going to have to put up with volatility in October. I'm not saying you're not, but I am saying that, if you say to yourself, a currency crisis has started and Zuckerberg versus Musk equals buy Bitcoin, what's my plan? Okay, Ethereum versus Bitcoin. ETH just cannot get off the mat versus Bitcoin. And as I understand it, this is typical of early bull market behavior. Alts just can't hold a bid. However, when gold takes off, there's going to be an epic catch-up rally in ETH. You're just not having it now. You had the 13 bottom. You had a big rally in ETH versus Bitcoin, and it just comes off again. I would love to see ETH reverse, but it looks like Bitcoin is just going to absolutely dominate. Okay. Now, interest rates, just as an aside. Okay. The integrity of our bond market is in question. The Fed's inflation fighting ability is in question. The yield on the 30-year bond could go to 4.25. It could also go to 4.77. If that happened in October, crypto would go down. You'd get Bitcoin at 25 or 20K. Okay. But that's an opportunity because I don't know that this market can fully reflect the lack of respect that financial markets have for the U.S. government. It's the same thing with the 10-year note. Obviously, a huge breakout here 10-year note should probably go up 50 basis points, right? Powell's probably going to lose his mind and talk so tough at the end of the month that he's probably going to have the market running scared, which again is a huge opportunity for us, excuse me, in crypto, right? I used to be like, oh, well, if interest rates go up, that's really bad. You should stay away from blah, 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 blah. I was like, you know what? I sound like a grumpy old man. Okay. Yes, it is true. Speculative assets do get whacked, especially if you have that big of a rally in the 10-year note. But the fact is the yield on the 10-year note and bond prices can never go down low enough to really reflect how crappy the U.S. government and overall central banks and governments have behaved. I mean, again, look at Europe, look at France, look at the Bundesbank insolvent, look at an indecisive deer in the headlights Fed, MicroStrategy breaking out of a diamond formation. This has got to be one of the most powerful formations. The diamond bottom is even more powerful. So if MicroStrategy retraces to 340, I would imagine the whole world is going to be down there. And frankly, we don't need a Bitcoin ETF because MicroStrategy is a Bitcoin ETF. And as soon as Michael Saylor, as soon as the thing bursts through his average price near 30, he's just going to start piling in, which is probably why his chief revenue officer walked away. Because he's like, you know, I'm babysitting the back end of a Bitcoin hedge fund. Okay, some intraday charts that 2 or 3 days from now you might want to look at and say, hey, did crypto hold or didn't it? Okay, total crypto market cap hanging out around the bottom end of a range, like an upward sloping regression band on a 90-minute chart. Same thing for total 2. Okay, same thing for total 3. Now, is it a good idea to buy altcoins on green days? No, it's not. Okay. Chasing altcoins doesn't seem to make sense. Even in things like Solana, you had dips to get involved in that. Okay. A lot of people think this Binance news matters. I don't think it does, right? A lot of high-ranking officials from Binance left. They're going to roll over on CZ. Binance will pay a fine. CZ will retire to an island. Binance is not the future of crypto. Obviously, we don't want anybody in crypto to get in trouble, particularly if it's just a government attack. But the end of Binance is not December. The end of Binance or Binance having problems is not the end of crypto, particularly with legacy institutions launching crypto exchanges. Okay, and then once again, Apple on a monthly basis. Okay, you can buy Apple for $3 trillion or you can buy Bitcoin. And that is the market update. Okay. Rudy, the real question is, do you have charts? Yes, I do. Okay, let's go to the charts. Let's talk about DeMark. Okay, so I think when you have a square range in Bitcoin, okay, that's generally bullish. Okay. There's no particular DeMark work on the 90-minute chart. Okay. On the 4-hour chart, the big question is, can Bitcoin get through 30,300? If Bitcoin can't get past 30,300, then you're going to get a gift dip to buy this now or later in the month. Okay. ETH is the same thing. Okay. So ETH does a 9 top and then ETH comes off. 1851 is support. That's the 90-minute chart. Okay. Realistically, 1825 was support, and they were right down there. Now, ETH's getting sold, most likely because interest rates are going higher. But the point is, why does Bitcoin hold up? Why? Okay. QNT. This is a 180-minute chart. There's a 13 bottom. But we're still waiting for confirmation and follow through, right? The major point about QNT is it does not pay to buy strength in these altcoins. You know, buy the big red down days. You get big red down days. Okay, Cardano, You have no idea how sad I am that Cardano is just like dead, right? Like Cardano breaks support at 28 cents. It can't even make a return move there before it goes back down. Okay. Solana, okay. Toby's pick down here. Okay. 13 top, you know, it goes from 15 to 20, 5-wave signal. That's probably it for Solana for the short term. Okay. Gala. Okay. So a 4-hour chart, it's a range. It's got to get above 0.024. Okay. You look at a daily chart. Okay. Again, it's basically sitting in the center of a range. My guess is, you know, if this is below 0.002, right, on some sort of stop fishing exercise, that's the buy point. Okay. Let's go to just straight up Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay. Mark is here. Welcome. Rudy with the super chat. I appreciate that. Okay. Let's take a look at, do I have Litecoin? Okay. Now, the good news is that Litecoin held at the 62% retracement of its run up. So Litecoin runs up and then it comes back down. And the thing I find interesting was that people wanted to buy it down there. Now, if people don't want to buy it today, that's fine. Interest rates were higher. I actually think crypto may be able to do better when the bond market is closed. Okay. That's when I think crypto can do its best work. But big institutions are going to want to buy crypto. They're going to want to get a stop fishing exercise going. They're going to. Okay, let's look at Bitcoin Cash. Okay, it's had some wild action in this thing, including a retest of the recent high, right? So, I mean, this was unbelievable on a 90-minute chart, right? Went down here, filled the gap. Insane. Filled the gap, attacked the high, 9 top, and then it came off, right? You got the 9 bottom here, but you got the failed rally. So you just want to be careful about failed rallies. You want to be careful. I mean, this was like the exception. You know, this exchange opened up and people just love the idea of cheaper forms of Bitcoin, right? Rudy, we appreciate your support. Anything people can do to support the channel, I appreciate. Don't Ask is here from Oklahoma. Welcome. Okay, KAS, I don't have DeMark work on that. Let's go check over here. Okay, so this is up 10% today. Okay, so it's been in a downtrend. It gapped up from one bottom of one regression band to another. Now let's try this. Let's get some levels here that can help you with navigation. So the key level for this will be 0.023. Okay, this is called hidden pivot analysis. Okay. So if this is the up move and this is the correction, 0.023 will be the key level. And if there's something going on here fundamentally that's unbelievable, then it's 0.034. Okay, for anybody that owns it. Okay, Mark is asking about D-Race. Oh my God, I remember that from a long time ago. See if that exists. I think this was the competitor to another horse racing game. Okay. You know, some of the things that you got to be careful. I mean, the good news is this is definitely a give up trade. I mean, this is what happened this is what is happening in GLDN right now. You got this people just giving up and then boom, it goes the other way. Okay. Okay. Somebody's asking about Pulse Chain. Okay. I think this is connected to Hex, right? Okay. So not a lot of action to work with here. You know, I think the way you want to look at these things is that, you know, when you look at this 89-minute regression band of any altcoin that you're talking about, see this basing process. So in the middle of this range, there's not much to do. But if you get down here at the bottom end of the range, you got to be disciplined enough to wait, right, to see if it turns around and goes higher. Okay. Okay, render 13 bottom, no rally. That's on a short-term chart. The good news is there's a lot of good support at $1.77. Okay. I'm sure this is fine because of the AI narrative connected to it. You just would worry if it broke $1.77. That's not going to be today. If there's going to be a problem with altcoins, it's going to be right before the Fed or in October. In the meantime, you know, people hodling stuff that's holding, that's fine. You can also take profits and roll into Bitcoin and roll back out again. Okay. Chili's, which may be connected to this NFT narrative, okay, kind of destroyed. Okay, if you look at a weekly chart, you have the 9 bottom last week. But you got to get momentum and get back above 0.094. So this is okay. This has got a 9 bottom, but again, you know, do you have the upside catalyst if Bitcoin is in a range? If Bitcoin is sucking all the liquidity out, can these small altcoins hold a bid until after that Fed meeting? So, I mean, I guess if you were hodling it, I don't see a reason to panic unless there's another big down move that starts on a weekly basis. Okay, Crypto Path, you are definitely not too late. You're never too late. You're never too early. You're right on time. Notorious Love from Quebec City. Okay, Kim with the super chat. Okay, looking forward to more intuitive work with Toby. Yes, we actually have a whole new shooting setup under construction as we speak. Toby, who's never been wrong about anything ever, right? She uses tarot cards, but I can tell you right now, she doesn't need them to see what's going to happen next. Some people love it. Some people hate it. A year from now, a lot of people are going to love it. Okay. So somebody wants to look at BTC pairs. Okay. I suspect that that's going to be a sobering picture. So anything versus Bitcoin, Cosmos versus Bitcoin underneath major support, right? If you look at a daily chart, okay, it's just down only. And I'm not picking on Cosmos. I'm just like, you know, okay, XRP, I was looking at, saw a headline today that supposedly the XRP army is like trying to turn on Ripple itself. Wonder if they figured out that Ripple is actually out there selling XRP to retail to fund the creation of CBDCs. You know, that's a theory one guy has had that I know. Okay, that would be really unfortunate. So when it comes to XRP, honestly, nothing is really happening. Okay, I think if I go back over here, I think XRP is near the bottom end of its like regression channel that I like to use on a daily chart. So, you know, XRP probably going to head for 44 cents. Okay, but, you know, XRP has got a lot of room to go higher, assuming there isn't something wrong with the relationship between the XRP army and Ripple itself. Okay. Like XRP is money. If XRP becomes money, XRP can achieve the valuations that the XRP army talks about. Okay. Seriously. Okay. XRP has been front running retail for years. That is true. That could be true. Okay. So Theta, again, like all these altcoins, right? There are all these resistance points and it's failing at all these resistance points. And that's not because there's anything wrong with this, just because when you get these Bitcoin bull cycles, you get these currency crises, you get these higher interest rates, it just hurts really speculative assets, right? It may even hurt Bitcoin, but again, the whole thing is going to get reflected. Like tech stocks will not be the way to invest in technology starting in July or even in October, right? Like equities may be done. And the only way to get invested in the future is through crypto. So that's why I'm like, well, you know, altcoins really will never beat Bitcoin in this environment, right? That's like right now. Okay. Okay. So Richard Barry, thank you for the super chat. Looking for VIX analysis. Okay, so if you want to do VIX analysis, I think you got to use Bollinger Bands, right? So, you know, as is the case with VIX, when you go above the top Bollinger Band and then you come back into it, right? You close back below it, VIX then turns around and collapses, right? Here. You know, this has been, the Fed knows this. The plunge protection team uses this, right? You go outside the top Bollinger Band. As soon as it comes back in, VIX collapses. Now, you know, does that make me want to buy equities anyway? Not really. Not really. Okay. I think if you like VIX, even though you can trade it, and I'm sure it's fun, I think if you want to look at what volatility is that can scare people, you need to look at MOVE. MOVE is VIX for bonds and currencies. Okay. I think mostly it's bonds. Sorry. Okay. So that's the MOVE index for today. That's volatility. That's the US losing credibility. Now, if people start freaking out in the bond market, that is going to create a correction in crypto. At which point, Elon Musk, Larry Fink, Google, me, Richard Barry, you know, my nephew in Jersey will be standing down there looking to get crypto. Looking to get crypto. Okay. Good timing and alts will rip. Yes, it can. Okay. And again, appreciate anything supporting the channel. Okay. Okay. People competing on the super chats. I appreciate it. Richard Barry got a new girlfriend yet. Yes. It's a popular tarot card reader. Okay. The woman can see things that other people cannot. Okay. So absolutely kicking here. 72 people here. Let's hit the like button. Rung again has got buy orders at 29K. Let's sum it up. Currency crisis happening. Silicon Valley, Wall Street in on Bitcoin. You will get a dip off a hawkish Fed. Develop a plan and take advantage of it. Okay, Robin, I'll send you love to Toby. We'll see you next week.